So we are in Bangkok at the headquarters of Asian Trailist Group, and with us we have Mr. Luzi Matzig, who is actually a veteran in the travel and hospitality industry in Thailand and in Southeast Asia, I would say. So thank you for being with us, first of all. How many years you are in Thailand and in hospitality industry in this part of the world?
I have been here since 1971.
1971.
So that's what, 52 years?
Okay.
So quite a while.
And you are the founder and the chairman of the Asian Trails Group.
Yes, we founded Asian Trail in 2009. No, in 1999. Sorry, on the 9/9/99.
Okay.
It was a very lucky date. So we've been doing fine, have had to go through several crises, as you know, the last one being COVID, but we got over it, and I'm glad to say this year has seen a very good recovery, not in all countries where we are, but in most of them. Where we do well is in Indonesia, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. These countries do well. Myanmar, as you know, is dead still for tourism, hardly any movement. Laos is starting to recover, and Cambodia could do better. The problem with these countries is the international flight connections have not been rebuilt entirely to these countries, and the airfares are still much higher than pre-COVID, which is why tourism to these countries is a bit slow. But Thailand, as I said, is doing very well. We also benefit indirectly from the problems which the Russian visitors have in Europe. You know, they're not very well received anymore. Even they are civilians and have nothing to do with politics, which is not fair, I think. But okay, Thailand receives the Russians with open arms. So we see lots and lots of Russians in summer, in Phuket especially, in Samui, and in Pattaya.
But Chinese market is not back yet.
Chinese market will only start later on this month. Visa problems, flight problems, but Thailand now cancelled the visa fees for Chinese tourists starting this month, later on. So this will open up the gates, I think. So Chinese will, at least during the third quarter and the fourth quarter of the year, will come back.
We have two new markets also. One is India, new in terms that Thailand was trying to replace, let's say, somehow the Chinese market with Indian market. Yes. So it was trying to attract more Indians. Plus Saudi Arabia, that they recovered their relationship with Thailand.
After 30 years of absence, yes, Saudi Arabia is coming back. That is a welcome new development. And of course, India, for us, for Asian Trail, is one of the main markets. The largest single group we had from India was 1,500 tourists this year. Okay, they had to split them up into 3 main groups, but still, India is a very important market. And maybe you know, the Asian Trail Group is part of Thomas Cook India.
Yes.
So our mother company, if you want, is supplying us lots of tourists. So that's a welcome new source of inbound tourism.
So Thailand, before COVID crisis in 2019, almost reached 40 million tourists. After COVID, I heard that the Thai government, they were trying to, they were wishing actually, to attract more high-end travelers. So not necessarily reach the same number of arrivals, but attract at least higher income travelers.
Yes.
You think Do you
This
see any
is,
change on that?
no, you see, this is like a budget.
Uh-huh.
You make budgets, you have aims, but the real life is mostly different.
Yes.
So yes, everybody would like to see a lot of high-end tourists spending longer time here, etc. But sometimes this is wishful thinking.
Mhm.
And we have to accept whatever we get. So Chinese inbound tourism was about almost 1/3 of Thailand's total
Exactly.
pre-COVID, about 9 million. So now that this number is much lower, of course, the whole of Thailand is affected, but this is a temporary thing. So by next year, we will be back to normal and above 2019, that's for sure.
So having in mind the challenges that you are facing now after COVID, what do you think will be the future of tourism in Southeast Asia, or what will be the trends, the most important trends that we are going to see?
Okay, now you hear a lot about over-tourism.
Exactly, yes.
Now, Thailand doesn't really have a problem with that. Maybe at certain specific spots. Let's say the Grand Palace in Bangkok is pretty crowded sometimes. So maybe you have to have a real reservation system or quotas and so on. Probably needs to be done. Or in Phuket, Koh Phi Phi, Maya Bay was overrun, so they had to close it for a while, and now it's limited access. Okay. But overall, we have thousands of kilometers of beaches, and lots of them are not developed yet. So Thailand has a lot of spare capacity, if you want, for beach tourism at least. Okay. Let's say if you look back 20, 30 years ago, we had a higher percentage of cultural tourism. People who came here and wanted to go on a round Thailand tour, 7 days. This in percent of total tourism has been reduced. And we have a much bigger share of leisure tourism. They come and relax on the beach usually, which isn't bad. I mean, the Europeans, they spend 7 days, 8 days, sometimes longer, which is good. Because the Southeast Asian tourists, when they stay 3 nights, maximum 4 nights average, they spend less.
Do you see any special interest travel, having, better development like MICE, like wedding tours, like, I don't know, cycling tours or whatever?
We have some very specific new packages, mostly based on individual tours. But one new development which we created is bike tours, bicycle tours, which combine the biking with cruises on the River Kwai, for example.
Interesting. Okay.
So they stay 3 nights on the boat on the River Kwai, and every morning they take their bikes from the boat and they go biking.
Okay.
Sometimes come back at lunch, sometimes have lunch outside. So a total of 4 days they are on the boat and off the boat, and in the end they go to Koh Yao Noi near Phuket for some more biking and beach holidays. That's a very specific new trend. Biking is very popular also in Europe.
And these are travelers from Southeast Asian region coming
No,
to Thailand,
these
or
are
from Europe, or from where?
a lot of Americans
Americans, okay.
and some Europeans. Grasshopper Adventure is the leader in this kind of bicycle tourism. They do a great job. Besides that, MICE is of growing importance for us. And the average spending of MICE tourists or MICE visitors is much higher than a beach holiday. So on there, depending on the budget, you can create new experiences, which are of course great. So we are pushing the MICE business a lot.
What about Thais? Do you think Thais, they start traveling again?
Yes. They travel all over the world, but the most popular destination for Thais is Japan.
It's Japan, yes.
Oh yeah, they go there.
For winter holidays mainly, I think.
Oh, but the whole year they also go. It's over 1 million Thai go to Japan. I mean, that's a big number.
It is, yes.
And nowadays, maybe you heard in the news, they go to, say, off the beaten track destinations like Iceland.
Okay.
So we just had some news about Thais not being welcomed by other Thais in Iceland for political reasons. Was an interesting story. Yeah.
So you are also a lifelong member of PATA, the Pacific Asia Travel Association, which recently has a new CEO. But I would like to ask you, what do you think can be the role of an association like PATA, and what are the challenges that this type of associations are facing nowadays with all the technology evolving and all of this?
This is a bit of a difficult question.
Mm-hmm.
You see, PATA, like most associations, has seen its membership numbers decline over the past few years. Because of the internet, because of online accessibility of data. I mean, in the past, you needed to educate yourself through associations like PATA on how is which destination, what can I do? And so nowadays, you don't need that anymore. You can Google anything. So you have to find new interests for our members, new services you can provide. I think maybe we should more go into special areas like mice business, for example, which is very special and where PATA can help create new products, give them new ideas, develop new destinations, say places in China, for example. Many people don't know destinations apart from Beijing and Shanghai. So China has a big potential for education of tourism personnel. But anyway, only yesterday, October 1, the new CEO started, and I'm sure he will be doing a great job. We found a very good new CEO, Malaysian. I guess you heard about him, Noor. He will be at the PATA Mart in Delhi this week, and then at the PATA board meeting next weekend, also in Delhi. So I wish him a good start.
What is your vision for the future of travel and hospitality in Southeast Asia?
Well, a lot of things will change because you see it even here in Asian Trails. A lot of bookings come in through OTAs or through our own online systems. That is an irreversible trend. So when you book online, you have less personal attention, of course. And sometimes, let's say if you make use of AI for your travel plans, if it's an easy program, say to a beach, of course you don't need a travel agent to book that. But if you go with your family on a 3-country trip overland, I don't think AI can give you valuable advice on the border crossing, on what private car to use, what guide, how the connections are. For that, you need a specialist who knows what is happening there. So the role of the travel agent has changed. He's more a specialist on certain areas. And no travel agent can know the whole world. So maybe you go to a specialist for Southeast Asia, and one for China, and one for South America.
Yes. So last but not least, you are also a pilot, apart from a travel professional. So that was a hobby for you or a business? Or
it started as a hobby, and then I bought a small jet, and I flew around for fun a couple of years, and it cost a lot of money. So my wife said, hey, better make this a business, so at least you reduce the cost or make some income instead. So since 15 years, we've been running VIP jets, and the business also saw its up and downs, but right now we do 70% of air ambulance flight.
Okay.
Like medical evacuations, always with a doctor and a nurse on board. Like tonight we should go to Phnom Penh. Mostly we go to countries where they have not so good hospitals, like in Cambodia. So when you have a difficult case, we fly them here to Bangkok, where we have lots of good hospitals. So yes, that's a business, growing business. Besides, we also fly tourists around when they want go on a private trip, maybe a week around Myanmar, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam. It's easy to rent a plane and the costs are not that high. Costs are about $2,000 per flight hour, which is not too bad.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Luzi, for your time.
You're welcome, Theo, and wish you success.
Thanks so much.